Centuries ago, humanity exhausted Earth's resources, causing chaos and wars. In an effort to save what remained of civilization, leading scientists developed genetically modified orchids that served as a new energy source. Yet, conflicts persisted. To solve this, the scientists created a transformation procedure. At age 16, everyone undergoes an operation that changes them into their ideal form. These individuals, called perfects, live peacefully in the city, away from conflict. Those who have not had the procedure are called Uglies and stay in dormitories. Tally eagerly awaits her turn and often uses a mirror app to imagine her post-operation appearance. Her best friend, Paris, has been with her since childhood, and they call each other Nose and Biscuit. They sometimes sneak to the bridge during curfew and use special glasses to watch the perfects celebrate in the city. Tally has 3 months until her 16th birthday, but Paris's operation is scheduled for tomorrow. They share matching scars on their hands and vow not to let the doctors remove them. Suddenly, a patrol drone passes overhead, and they run back to the dorms. The next day, during assembly, Tally overhears students discussing the smoke, a hidden place beyond the city led by someone named David. They say some people escaped there, though many doubt it exists. A hologram of Governor Cable appears, delivering a speech about the value of becoming perfect. Soon after, all 16-year-olds are called, and Tally says goodbye to Paris, telling him to meet her at the bridge in a month. That night, Tally watches fireworks and recalls meeting Paris. Her parents had just dropped her at the dorms, and Paris stood behind her in line. They exchanged nicknames and quickly became inseparable. One day, Paris cut his hand while taking a tablet from her, so Tally made the same scar, sealing their friendship. Weeks pass as Tally attends classes and regularly checks her mirror, but she hears nothing from Paris. After a month, she hacks her window using her ring, then leaves it behind to avoid being tracked. She heads to the bridge, but Paris never appears. Determined, she climbs under the bridge using a rope and reaches the city, hiding among plants. When an assistant drops a mask, Tally picks it up and puts it on, transforming her appearance into that of someone wearing an elegant dress. Disguised, she enters the party and is amazed by the lavish decorations. She eventually spots Paris, but he looks entirely different and doesn't recognize her. Removing her mask, Tally asks why he didn't meet her at the bridge. Paris admits things have changed, and he no longer knows how to connect with her. She's stunned, especially when she notices his scar is gone. Suddenly, the security system detects her. Guards approach, forcing Tally to flee. Cornered on a balcony, she grabs a jacket with a jump rope and leaps. The fall is long, but the jacket cushions her landing. She climbs back under the bridge to leave the city. While moving along, she accidentally kicks a stone into the water, attracting a drone. Just as it's about to capture her, her classmate Shay appears and urges her onto a hoverboard. The drone gives chase, but Shay's skilled maneuvers through the forest allow them to escape. Grateful, Tally sneaks into the kitchen and steals snacks for them to share. They bond over how hard it is to be left behind when friends turn 16. Discovering they share a birthday, they're excited to one day become perfects together. The next day, Shay brings a second hoverboard to teach Tally, but she quickly falls off. Later at school, Tally sees some girls returning a book to Shay. Since books are rare, the girls are fascinated by its survival tips for living in the wild, speculating that's how life in the smoke might be. Tally borrows the book while the girls compliment her hoverboard stunt, though the attention irritates her. She fears they might punish her by refusing the operation, but Shay assures her that the system wants everyone to be perfect. Over the days, Tally reads the book but keeps dreaming about the procedure. Shay continues teaching Tally how to ride the hoverboard, and in return, Tally keeps hacking her ring to get more food. Tally also shows Shay her flawless designs in the app, but Shay doesn't have an account. In truth, Shay isn't thrilled about the surgery. Eventually, Tally masters flying, and they ride their hoverboards over wild ramps for fun. When Tally returns the book, she mentions wanting to visit the beautiful wilderness. Shay says it wouldn't be so bad to skip the surgery, but Tally finds that idea absurd. Suddenly, Shay talks about the smoke and leads Tally to the forest's edge. They leave their rings on some branches and cross the river on hoverboards. Eventually, they arrive at the ruins of an old city, where Shay explains ancient things like roller coasters. She then takes Tally to an abandoned building and reveals the truth. The smoke is real, and David will be there soon. Shay refuses the surgery and plans to leave that night, asking Tally to join her. Tally refuses, saying she wants perfection, not freedom. Frustrated, Shay gives her directions to the smoke in case she changes her mind, hugs her, and then rides away toward David's campfire signal in another building. The next day, on Tally's birthday, she goes to the clinic for surgery, but everyone else is called except her. A guard escorts her by ship to see Dr. Cable, who says Shay has vanished. Tally denies knowing anything, but Cable notices her vital signs indicate she's lying. Cable claims Shay is in danger because David brainwashed her and keeps people against their will. When Tally insists she knows nothing, Cable sends her back to the dorms without the surgery. That night, Tally hears a noise and is shocked to see Paris at her window. She tells him what happened, and he suggests she share what she knows so they can be together. The next day, Tally is brought before Cable again. Cable explains that David is building a weapon to attack the city and needs Tally to infiltrate the smoke. Tally agrees, and Cable promises to do her surgery if she succeeds. She hands Tally a necklace that blinks in her eyes, which she must activate once she locates the weapon. Tally follows Shay's directions and rides her hoverboard down an old roller coaster for miles. She finds a gap and falls into the forest, but a force field breaks her fall. She then discovers abandoned train tracks and follows them toward the smoke. For several days, Tally survives in the wild using what she read in the book and starts appreciating nature like never before, even climbing a mountain. When the tracks are broken in the middle of a canyon, she uses the hoverboard to make a big jump, but it powers off midair. She plummets quickly, but just before hitting the ground, the board turns back on, and she lands safely on the other side. She waits in a flower field as instructed. Meanwhile, Cable brings Paris to her office, revealing she told him to visit Tally's dorm earlier. Paris admits he enjoyed being in the city, feeling as if he could think more clearly. Cable then announces that a few have been chosen for a new procedure, and Paris agrees to enhancements. That night, Tally wakes up coughing from smoke. She realizes the field is on fire and freezes, unsure what to do. Suddenly, a mysterious figure lifts her up and carries her away. David begins scanning Tally and her belongings for trackers. He locates one on the hoverboard and removes it, but the scanner doesn't react to her necklace. Meanwhile, Cable's men receive an alert about the removed tracker, and she sends her team to search the area. The next morning, David and Tally arrive at a smoke outpost, where Tally happily reunites with her friend Shay. Shay is thrilled to see her, but Croy remains wary. That night, the group camps, and Shay asks about the necklace. Tally claims it was a gift from Paris. Tally is surprised that Shay seems happy despite what Cable told her and tries to voice her concerns, but Shay suspects she came to convince her to return. They argue, and Tally agrees to give the smoke a chance. The next day, Tally learns the smoke deliberately burns orchids because they are poisonous. She doesn't believe it, insisting the orchids were the clean energy solution, but David explains it's a government lie, that the flowers are actually turning the planet into a desert. He wants to take her on a mission to prove it. Croy objects, but Shay sides with Tally. The group uses an old helicopter they've fixed with solar panels and takes off. From above, Tally sees the once lush orchid fields now reduced to barren desert. Shay uses a flamethrower to destroy as many orchids as possible. Suddenly, Croy's tablet picks up movement nearby. David lowers the helicopter to hide in the smoke, but the shift loosens the rope holding Shay, and she falls. With scouts closing in, Tally ties a bag to the rope for weight, tosses it, and climbs down to help her. The helicopter begins losing altitude as Tally searches through the flames until she finds Shay. When a scout approaches, Tally throws the flaming bag at him. The girls grab the rope, and the helicopter lifts off before the scout can jump aboard. After landing, Croy blames Tally for leading the scouts to them, but Shay defends her, and David says anyone who risked their life for the smoke deserved a chance. That night, Tally can't sleep, thinking about Cable and how she taught her to manipulate rebels. She steps out for a walk and sees David bathing in the river, quickly returning to the tent in embarrassment. The following day, Tally is blindfolded and brought to the smoke, a thriving community living in harmony with nature. Life is harder than in the city, but the food tastes better when grown by hand. Even the elderly work, there's no money, and goods are shared or traded. Most importantly, everyone is there by choice. Recycled train tracks are turned into tools, but no weapons are made because they are pacifists. One afternoon, Tally notices a strange door and tries to peek inside, but Croy catches her and sends her away. She spends her days helping with track repairs, tasting spicy food for the first time, and joining dances around the campfire. Later, David teaches her how to use a hunting crossbow. It takes her several tries, but she eventually hits the target. Back at camp, David reveals he's never seen the city. He was born in the wild and raised by his family. Tally is surprised since she barely knew her own parents. David then gives her a pair of gloves. Soon after, a member of the Smoke returns injured from burning orchids, reporting that the scouts nearby are faster and stronger than usual. Shay notices Tally wearing the gloves and explains their significance. Items have special value in the Smoke, and since David made them, it means he likes her. Shay urges Tally to make a choice and stop toying with them. The next time Tally walks with David, she brings up rumors of a weapon capable of destroying the city. David takes her to a distant house, where she meets his parents, AZ and Madi, who guard all the books. They once worked as government cosmetic surgeons, but grew suspicious of certain tests. Their investigation revealed that the physical enhancements were just a cover for brain modifications. Becoming perfect meant becoming slow, compliant, and falsely content, making people easier to control. The procedure also caused many deaths, something the government kept hidden. When Cable discovered that Oz and Madi had uncovered the truth, she stole all their research. State workers, such as doctors, were given the cure so they could think clearly while doing their jobs. David's parents eventually chose to leave the city and live naturally in the forest, growing old without interference. They've been trying to recreate the cure, but are missing a synthetic ingredient. Because of this, they only have a basic version of a serum, which is believed to be powerful enough to destroy the city. After the meeting, Tally tosses her necklace into the fire, deciding to stay with the Smoke. She tries to confess to David that she's done awful things, but he brushes it off, believing she's changed. They kiss, and in the fire, her necklace begins to sputter. The next morning, city ships arrive at the Smoke and open fire. Everyone scrambles to escape while scouts chase them, but many fall into traps like nets and rolling logs. Unfortunately, the scouts are too fast and strong, so the traps don't stop them for long. Before long, they're capturing rebels one by one. Shay is caught, and Tally hides with David, who wants to go help, but she stops him, knowing they can't overpower the scouts. The two slip toward the holding area where prisoners are gathered, and Tally is heartbroken to see Paris has become a scout. AZ and Madi are taken just as Cable arrives, demanding to know where David is. His parents refuse to answer, so Cable orders Paris to kill AZ. David and Tally rush to stop him, but they're too late. Then Cable exposes Tally's past work for her, turning the Smoke against her. While the chaos unfolds, Marty slips the serum into David's pocket. Cable announces that everyone will undergo surgery. Tally bolts to a warehouse, sets it on fire, grabs a crossbow, and escapes through a window as a scout tries to break in. The fire triggers an explosion that knocks the scout back, giving David a chance to flee. A scout goes after him, but Tally stops him with an arrow. Paris wants to continue the chase, but Cable calls everyone back. Some scouts destroy Maddie's research and burn the area, while others herd prisoners onto the ship. Once they're gone, David gathers whatever supplies he can for a rescue. Tally approaches, but David lashes out with a knife, almost stabbing her. She offers to help, but he says he no longer trusts her. She explains he needs her because he's never been inside the city. Later, in the city, Tally finds students reading Shay's book and introduces them to David to prove the Smoke is real. Tally borrows an interface ring and asks them to gather kids to cause a distraction. Soon, a group of teens writes, "The Smoke lives in the sky," while flying hoverboards. Meanwhile, David and Tally wait for the ship to leave the clinic, then sneak in with hoverboards. They enter through the airship tunnel and land safely with their vests. They move cautiously, and Tally uses the ring to hack a lock, but it's not a kitchen, and the hack fails. A Perfect suddenly opens the door, and David immediately attacks. They trade blows before David pins him to the wall, while Tally removes his ring. David throws him down the hall, and Tally locks the door. When alarms blare, they find the cell and use the ring to free everyone. Tally notices Shay isn't there, and Croy reveals she's already had surgery. While the group escapes, David, Tally, and Maddie search for her. But when they find her in the lab, she's already a Perfect. Tally cries and apologizes, but Shay insists she loves it. Cable and Paris arrive, forcing them into machines for surgery. The process starts, but before the needles cut, the Smoke's helicopter appears outside, and Croy opens fire with a flamethrower. Cable and Paris retreat as the machines malfunction, halting the operation. They escape, with Tally helping Shay and Maddie retrieving the missing component. On the roof, they find Paris. Tally tries to reach him by using their old nicknames and pointing out that a piece of glass has restored his scar. Paris gently touches her face, and David mistakes it for an attack, tackling him. Paris overpowers David, landing blow after blow. But before he can kill him, Tally uses a hoverboard to knock him over the edge. He hangs on briefly, says Tally's nickname, then falls over the waterfall. The group flees on hoverboards, spotting the other teens crashing drones in the sky. They hide in the abandoned city, and Maddie takes the serum from David's pocket to finish the cure. She's unsure if it will work or harm the brain. Shay refuses to take it, and Marty won't force anyone. Tally volunteers to be the test subject, agreeing to undergo surgery and then take the cure, promising to send a signal if it works. The airship approaches with Cable on board. After saying goodbye, the group escapes while Tally surrenders to the scouts. Later, she's the perfect image of a model citizen, living in luxury. She insists she loves it, but the scar on her hand shows she's still herself, secretly working as a spy.